Welcome to the 76th episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
I'm Greg.
On this episode, we talk about some crowdfunding games, both new arrivals and new backings. We assign board game mechanics to modern-day job titles. We go through 4 recently played games and rate them new, old, borrowed, or it just blew. And finally, we open up the mailbag for a question that takes us back to our roots. But before we get started...
Videos.
Okay.
You actually got 2 videos out this time.
I did get 2 videos out.
Of playing through our collection.
Yes.
Now, if you go by the notes I have written down there, it is episode 68 and episode 677.
I saw that. I think your finger got a little happy on the 7 key.
Right?
Because, God forbid, we better never have 677 episodes of
playing through our collection.
We'll be doing them one game at a time from here on out.
Right. Okay,
They'll
but
be short episodes.
That's all we got out. I mean, you did put the other podcast up,
Yes.
which you've been doing a lot. So if you're listening to it on YouTube, you know what she means. But if you're just listening it through wherever you get your podcasts, you can also go to YouTube, pick it up over there, and comment whatever you want in the comments.
Yes.
Because last episode, we actually talked about some of them.
Yes, and I don't think we had any on last episode.
No, we had nothing on Horrified.
I didn't think so.
New to our collection. We have something new to our collection.
We do.
But we didn't buy them
Not
after you
recently,
cut
anyway.
us off. It
No.
was Kickstarters that came in.
These are Kickstarters that came in.
Both of them from yours.
Yes. We got in the expansion for Hamlet by the Lake. This also came with
The fix?
It came with fixed tiles, which I'll be honest, I opened up the box. Oh, great. That's what they are. And I put them on a shelf in the game room, and I have not touched the box since. I need to pull Hamlet out, replace the tiles, replace the church, do all this, replace everything that came with this upgrade.
Yeah, because the church is now wooden, right?
Yeah, the church is supposed to be wooden now. So, which I had an Etsy thing that kept everything together and standing up, but I guess I don't need that anymore. So, I don't know.
Now with the church being wooden, it kind of reminds me of a game we just played. I think it was in either 67...
Yeah, Pillars of the Earth.
Pillars of the Earth, yeah, because
Yes.
you're building the cathedral, and
Yeah.
they're all wooden pieces.
Yes.
And now here you're just building a regular church. It's not a cathedral, though, but...
Right. Yeah, the church being the center point of the city where you are... And I don't know if we've never talked about Hamlet. This was a game that came out on Kickstarter, I don't know, a few years ago, where you are building out these irregular shaped tiles and you have to connect pathways or make pathways with bridges in order to move from one tile to the next. It's a interesting worker, I don't even want to call it worker placement. It's more like worker movement. You know, you have to move your workers around.
Yeah. And you're making a chain. It's almost like
a route building.
Yeah, as I say, it's almost like a route building
Yeah.
because you have to chain the donkeys and your workers together to get resources from one area to build in another area. So
Yes.
it's interesting.
Yes, I agree. And this was one that was done, published by Mighty Boards, designed, and I pulled up Hamlet by the Lake. Let me see if I can actually get Hamlet.
You
There
should
we
be
go.
able to just go to the top of that
I
page.
It did. Yep. Designed by David Cherkop and art by Yusuf Artoon. I don't know why I bother trying to say these names. I'm so bad at it. But anyway, it came out in 22, and then the new one just came out now. So
Yeah,
2 years
Artoon
ago.
would be the one I would have said, too.
Okay.
So
Okay, good. Anyway, I realized that we always talk about the names of games, but we never go into details on them, and I'm trying to do better this episode, so we're going to try.
Oh, of the games that go in our collection? Or
Well, just games, period. Every time we talk about a game, I never mention who it was designed by or who published it, or we never talk about these things, and I feel like we should. But anyway.
Okay.
Especially if we're going into any kind of depth.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the other game that came in is one called Theme Park Mania. This is one that, again, was Kickstarted a couple years ago. It is listed as, I guess it was a year ago or so. Published out this year by Meeple Master, designed by You guys are going to ask me never to do names again. Gertchen Eckel and Susan Eckel, and then art by Gertchen Eckel. This is one where you are building out a theme park using tiles. And I have not even opened the box yet. I did open the box and look at the game. I have not opened the game box yet. I've not even taken it out of shrink yet. I need to do that as well. I was thinking about doing an unboxing on that one, but I just have not had time.
Mm-hmm. And this one, you just bought the basic one. You didn't get the deluxe.
Yes, I ended up just buying the basic. I did not go for the deluxe because I didn't like the look of the box.
Yeah, because it's just blah.
It's black and with gold lettering.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Ice. How Ice's basic box was nice and colorful, and the special edition, whatever, collector's edition, whatever it was, was black and gold. It's like kind of like a Drama's Edge. They did it too.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, but the only real difference I saw between the two, other than the box, was that you got gold figurines, and I didn't really need the gold figurines, so I just went with the basic for the lower price. But anyway,
I'm wondering.
I'm anxious to try this one.
The artwork looks like Quadropolis.
It does, actually.
I was just looking at, nope, this is the only one he's done.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the
Interesting.
artwork
But
is
yeah,
just
that
like
artwork
Quadropolis.
definitely looks
It
like
looks
Quadropolis.
It looks like the people from Quadropolis.
Mm-hmm. It does. All right, but anyway, that is the two games we've picked up. Neither have been played yet, so we'll come back with those.
They're coming.
They're coming.
And now, it is time for the most anticipated segment of the podcast. It is time for Random Board Game Banter!
Have you ever wondered how to describe your job by using board game mechanics?
Can't say that I have, no.
What I mean by that is, like, say a truck driver. He is definitely a pickup and delivery mechanic, correct?
Sure.
Police and detectives, would that be deduction?
I would hope so, yeah. I mean, they feel like they use that in their job a lot.
Mm-hmm. A race car driver would be like catch the leader mechanism?
I've never heard of that mechanism.
Neither did I until I looked it up.
Oh, that's crazy.
Sports players like football players, soccer players, basketball players, cooperative.
Team versus team. I mean,
yeah. I can still see the cooperative. The team
Party
is cooperative.
Game. Well, yeah.
Party game.
Party game. Team versus team.
Okay. A bouncer. There is a mechanic called physical removal, and they kind of use Jenga in operation as an example of it.
Again, another
one I've never heard of, right?
No.
Maybe for a segment we can talk about all the mechanics that BGG lists.
That would be cool. Yeah, they list a lot because I remember like using it in a spreadsheet at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's
crazy.
Crazy.
There's a long list. Supervisor. I have worker placement, but you had something different.
When we were talking about this last night, what did I call it? It's like worker. I again go back to that worker movement I mentioned earlier on Hamlet. It's kind of like they just move people around or gosh, I don't know. You mentioned this to me a couple days ago, and I've thought about it, and I can't come up with anything for my job. I mean, I don't even know. My job is so eclectic.
Mm-hmm. So a person who actually builds deck, meaning like onto your house where you go out and have parties, is that a deck builder?
No.
What would it be?
I don't know, but not that. That's just play on words. That is not a mechanic.
Okay. So explain your job, and maybe we can figure it out, or maybe the listeners can figure it out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my job. All right, so I work in the mail center, what we call business support services of a mutual fund company here in Indianapolis. My job entails dealing with the incoming mail, getting it sorted out, opened up, and scanned into the system so that other sites around the country can process investments and redemptions and dealer changes and all the different things that come in associated with your retirement accounts or your mutual fund accounts.
Which is what you used to do.
Which is what I used to do, yes. I used to work in the department that was on the other end, on the receiving end of this. And then I went into a department where I dealt with the $1 million accounts and what we call our jumbo accounts, and dealt with the back offices of dealer firms. And then because of helping out. You guys have all heard us talk about the choir department. Because of helping out at the high school with the choir department, I changed to this new department, which gave me better hours, 4 days a week, which doesn't happen anymore, but I still have the better hours, so that's okay. And it allowed me to be at the school more often. So I went into this department for 1, the stress reduction, and 2, for the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the stress reduction didn't last long, I'm afraid, because as I climbed through the ranks in this department, now I'm one of the more senior associates. I've delved into handling cash control, which deals with all of the live checks that come in, as well as dealing with the system and the deposits and getting millions and millions of dollars to the bank every day. Virtually, not in person, thank goodness. Matter of fact, we did once have somebody actually send cash in, and we had to get it to a bank. And of course, the company banks with Wells Fargo, and there's no Wells Fargo within 400 miles of us.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's
no Wells Fargo in Indiana.
It was a trick to get this money deposited, let me tell you. So I don't know. And then, okay, so we deal with incoming mail. That is only a small piece of what we do, though. In fact, we're getting a new senior manager, and then the guy who's taking the place, which I've worked with this manager over at Host when I worked with the dealer firms and stuff. So I have worked with this guy before. He came over and was taking a tour of the department, and he was shocked at everything that we do. Because in addition, everybody just assumes we're the mailroom. We deal with the incoming mail. No, we also have to deal with all of everything that has to get reprepped, the system issues. We deal with requesting money from other companies, what we call transfer of asset forms. We deal with letters going out. We deal with regular mail going out, checks going out. Again, all the stuff you would typically see in a mailroom. Mm-hmm. But it's more than that. We do a lot of indexing in the computer. When we scan everything in, the sources get pulled up onto a computer through the computer system, and now we have to index it to an account number so that it'll pull up on the other end, and we have to give it a work type. We have to know in a minute's time what this work type is and what to name it so we can get it to the proper person, so that it can be worked without getting delayed or stuck in the system. And this is just a small, tiny piece of what I do every day.
So you process money
over the place. Yes.
So you process money.
Yes.
In the mail.
Yes.
So if anybody out there has an idea of the mechanic that we could describe her job with, let us know in the comments.
It's so, like I said, it's so eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even begin to know what I would call it.
Mm-hmm. Well, mine too. I can't figure out what mine would. I was going to say city builder. Not really. I'm not building a city. I build communities, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would. You build houses.
That's the closest I could come to as a city builder. I'm not sure. I was going to say like tile placement, but not really. Because what I do, for almost 40 years now, I was thinking that back. It's like, oh my God, it had 3 years away and I'll be in 40 years.
Yes, you will.
Wow. Anyway, I have built many, many, many houses, whole neighborhoods, as a matter of fact, $1 million homes all over the place in Indiana or central Indiana. And I also remodel houses. So, like I said, I'm trying to figure out what the mechanic would be that would best describe my job. And all I could come up, like I said, would be city building.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to BGG here and seeing if I can find their listing, but I wouldn't even begin to know where to look on it.
If you go on BGG and you go to the search engine and right-click on it, or click on it and hit Advanced Search.
Okay.
When that screen pulls up, go all the way to the bottom, and you're going to see board game categories and board game mechanics. You click on the board game mechanics, and it shows you all the board game mechanics.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You didn't even know that was there, did you?
Well, I knew there was a list here somewhere. I did not know that was
easy?
There. No. No, I did not. Because I've run across it before. I know that.
This is how I go through and get our top 10s.
Grid movement. That might describe part of my day because I'm never in the same place for very long. Although today I was, because I was doing return sources. So I was pulling stuff out of boxes and mailing it back to people. Oh, let's see.
But yeah, I went through this the other night and I'm like, going, gosh, I don't know what would investments be on yours?
I mean, Investments is a type. I'm trying to find it. Income? No.
Legacy game. That describes my life.
I mean, investment is the type of company I work for.
That went right over your head.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? I was too busy
I told you,
looking.
Folks, she was too busy reading and not listening to me. I said legacy game. That describes my life. I am a legacy.
Okay. Anyway.
Loans? No, loans would not be in
No,
yours.
not loans. Investment would probably be the closest, but I don't know exactly what that work type is supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to...
Measurement movement. I know that it's in miniature games, though. I don't know what mine would be. Paper and pencil? No, not really. Pattern
I want to see what
movement?
comes up under investment. Concordia, Acquire, The Gallerist, Mombasa,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Great Wall. Obviously things we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Airlines Europe. Really? I mean...
Airlines, yes, because you're getting the stocks.
Yeah, you're doing
You're
stock.
investing
That's true.
in the airlines.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that would probably be about the closest, but again, that describes the company and what the company does overall, but it doesn't describe my job at all. So, I don't know. USPS, the Great American Mail Race.
That's just a game, though.
I know, that's just a game. Anyway. All right, so...
Okay. So let us know in the comments what you think both mine and Katie's description would be using the mechanics for games. Yours being, what is your title? Do you have a title?
Business Support Service Specialist.
There you go. And mine's basically a carpenter.
All right, so moving on.
Moving on. I put this on here because I've been following this because I get emails from Bitewing Games all the time.
Okay.
And they've been doing their top 100 games of all time. Well, they're down to 25 through 1. I just thought it'd be interesting if I could get it to pull up and go through and see if we agree with these.
Okay.
So at their number 25 is Heat Pedal to the Metal. I'm not sure where that landed on my 100.
I don't know. I could find out real quickly where it landed on mine, but...
We've been playing this a lot lately.
Yeah, we have been. And very much enjoying it.
Yeah. I don't have my top 100 on here anymore that I know of.
Anyway, continue on. I don't think I have your top 100 in here.
Trio. I've seen it. We haven't played it. I don't know a lot about it, but it says it's a simple memory-based card game.
Ooh, with me it came in at 78.
Ooh, I think mine's a little higher.
I think yours was higher. Anyway,
Trio, which is a memory-based card game. I have not played it. I've seen it, never played it. I've seen pictures of people playing it. Tatari. If I pronounce that right.
That's how I would pronounce it too, but I've never seen this game before.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I don't even know what it's about either.
Yeah.
Inish, we have played Inish once or twice, and it just wasn't our game.
We ended up selling it, yeah.
Yeah, it's an area control, which we're not huge on.
No.
I mean, we do have some area control games that we play and we actually like, but this one, you battle too.
I didn't care for it.
It's battling for area control.
Yeah. I know people love it.
Oh, yeah. I know. A lot of people like it, and they couldn't believe we had it and got rid of it.
Yep.
Scout. This is one I want to play.
I do want to try this
I almost picked it up at Gen Con last year, but did not. But it's an interesting trick-taking game because you can't really move cards around too much.
That's what I heard. Yeah, it's almost like a hand management.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that one game that Jeff brought to the retreat 2 years
Photographs?
ago. Photographs, yes.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was called now.
It was called...
Reel to reel or whatever.
I don't remember.
There's two
I know
names for it.
The version he brought was called Photographs.
Yeah, there was another name for it.
Yes. Yeah, it's been reissued or re-implemented or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A number 20 was Gang of Dice. I've never heard of it. Apparently, it's a dice game. Just by the title.
Whatever gave that away.
Say just by the title. Number 19 is a game you really like. This is Azul.
Oh, yes. I love Azul.
It's
and
fine.
All of its iterations.
It's fine. It's not one of my favorite games. I like some of the other ones of the Azul grouping there.
Okay.
But this...
I know.
It's all right.
You've never cared for Azul. I like it, and I like its spinoffs.
Yeah. My City, which we've been probably playing for 2 years now.
Oh, gosh. We're not even half the way through yet.
Yeah. But
we play through a packet at a time, and then...
put it away for months on end, and then get
some.
it back out.
Yeah.
And I think the first couple plays of this, I did not like it because you were just dominating in these games, and I was getting nowhere.
Because polyomino is my thing.
Yes, I know, but if I'm not mistaken, the last couple of games,
I
suddenly was like going, wait, I can make this kind of like an engine builder, and started doing that and been winning.
Number 17 is Millie Fiore. I do like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I do definitely like it better at 4 players than 2.
Yeah.
I really like this one.
This one's good.
So pretty.
Yeah, this one's good. I mean, where is it on my top 100? I don't remember.
I don't know. I'd have to look, yeah.
Number 16, Pax Premier 2nd Edition. We've never played it. I think I know
have not.
2 people. This is by Cole Worley. I didn't realize that. Cole Worley from Root fame.
Oh, okay. I thought I recognized
But
the name.
I know Tony has this because she picked it up on our way out to move your mom from Sacramento to Phoenix.
Yes.
On our drive all the way out there.
Yep.
And then I think, I'm not 100% positive, and I don't think Adil listens to the show, but I thought he said he had it too.
I don't remember.
I don't know. It's one I wouldn't mind playing. I'm just not really a big fan of that board.
No. It's never interested me, but I wouldn't say no if somebody brought it out.
Sidereal Confluence. I think I've pronounced that right.
Yeah. And number 15.
Yep. This is I think it's a bidding game. Negotiations. Simultaneous negotiation. And it's supposed to be, it's a really long game. So, and I know you're not big on negotiating games or anything.
No, I do not like negotiation games.
Undaunted Stalingrad is 14.
Stalingrad.
Did I say guard?
Stalingrad, yeah.
Stalingrad. This is one I wouldn't mind trying to play, but it's a head-to-head game.
You and your son can have fun with it. It's a war game, and I just I don't care for the war games. I don't like the theme, and they just don't interest me.
El Grande. I think this is
I do want to try that one.
Yeah, but I think it's another.
It's the description is it is the big granddaddy of area majority games.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's an area majority game.
So maybe we don't need to try this one. But then again, it's been around for 30 years, so it might be worth it. At least to try it.
Yep.
Really? Number 12. Smlem. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a cute game, but
I don't
it's
think
not going to hit my top 100.
Number 12 of all time. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't even. Well, it wasn't in my last year's top 100 because we didn't have it yet.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see where it'll show up this year, but it won't be in my top 100. I guarantee it.
Now, number 11, the Crew Mission Deep Sea. We've really liked. This is the game that we always play when we have extra time after playing a long game with Justin and Jackie.
And we just want to wind down and
we sit there and play.
A few hands.
It's like, we'll only play a couple games of it, and 12 games later.
Yeah.
Because it's taken us that long to get through one mission.
But the games are, they're 5-minute games.
Well, they can be.
It takes longer to dish out the cards and to decide which goal you're taking than it does to actually play through the hand.
Yeah. And I do like this one better than the original one. What is it?
I like the way they do the missions a little better on this one. Yes. So this is, if you've never heard of it, since we are going more in depth on this one, this is a cooperative trick-taking game where there's no communication or very little communication anyway. But everybody has a goal they have to fulfill. And as a group, you have to make sure each person fulfills it. Like one goal may be this person has to take the pink 7. Doesn't matter how they get it, whether they have it in their hand already and they claim that they win that trick with it, or they get it in another trick by playing something else. It's an interesting game, and it is hard to get through some of these missions to make it all work out in 9 cards.
Yeah, this is a follow-up of the Quest for Planet 9. Yes. That was the other one.
Crew Quest for Planet. Yeah, we have them both, and we really like them both.
Yeah. Number 10... I know you like. You really like this game. I did not.
It's not one I have to go out and own.
But
I liked it.
Yeah, it's a deck building race game, and me and Jeff just did not like it at all because we could not get the cards, or in the right spot to get the right cards. And you seem like every time, oh, I get this card now. Oh, look at this. I get this card that lets me fly by 10 spots. And not have to
there was no card that did that.
You were across the board. Me and Jeff was still like maybe halfway across. So anyway, but that's Quest for. I know a lot of people like this too. Yeah, so it's an older Ryan Knizia. I mean, Vincent Dutrait does the artwork. I like Vincent Dutrait's artwork. I just didn't like the game.
Okay.
Hansa Teutonica is number 9. This is another game I want to try. We don't have. I wouldn't mind trying it. I don't know a lot about it. I just know it's a Euro game.
I have no idea. I've never looked into this one.
Through the Desert. This is
one I've been curious about.
Yeah, and they had this out at Geek Way to the West, and I started to look at that, but we were going to do something else or something like that, and we didn't sit down because I was trying to get a demo of it. But Babylonia is number 7.
I've never heard of it.
I have heard about this just because of some of the other podcasts I listen to about it, but I don't know anything about it. So I can't really say anything.
Knizia tile placement game. Interesting.
There's a lot of Reiner Knizia games in this grouping. 6 is Klask. I don't think it's number 6.
I've never played it, but it reminds me of air hockey. And air hockey is fun.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I'd have to play it, I guess.
5 is Brass Birmingham. Brass Birmingham's a great game.
It is.
I don't think it's number 1 like it is on BGG.
No.
I don't know. I don't remember either where this fell in my top 100. Maybe it had been in the top 50, top 30 maybe.
Nope, it was not in my top 100.
I think it was in my top 100. So.
It was not in mine.
Arcs is number 4. We've played this. It's not a game for us.
I loved our play. And I think it entirely was based on the people we played it with.
Well, yeah, because the couple we played it with.
Peter and Kristen.
Yes.
And they dislike area control and confrontational games just like as much as we do. And I feel like we had a good time with it. We didn't play the whole game because it started really stretching on, and we were like, okay, let's just finish this round and we're done.
Yeah. And nobody picked on me, but...
I was going to win until Peter came and picked on me.
Peter was picking on Christian constantly, and you weren't picking on me. I wasn't picking on you, and then he came back and picked on you. And
because
I'm just sitting over there.
I had what he needed to win the game, and so he came and took it. And he knew if he didn't take it, I was winning. So he took it, and he won. Like, darn it, I was going to win this.
Number 3 is Crokinole. Great game. Don't think it's number 3, though. It's not in mine.
It has... stood the test of time.
Yeah, this is a very old game.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Raw.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, neither one of us we don't like a lot of bidding games, especially this one.
I think we've only played it once. And the one play we had of it, the 2 people there was 5 of us. 2 people who play it enough to play it competitively.
It's like one of their favorite games.
Yes, they have played it hundreds of times from the way I understood them. And then it was us and Jeff, who's only ever played it once.
Yeah, and they gave us a very basic rule set of what's going on. But no, like, hey, this is kind of a strategy you could use. Yeah. None of that.
No, they just went to town and
just
wiped the table with all 3 of us. And it was just not an enjoyable play.
No.
So I don't think I'll be playing that one again.
And number 1 is Tigers and Euphrates and Yellow and Yankees. Yellow and Yankees is the later version of Tiger and Euphrates. That's why they're both there. They're both Reiner Knizia games. I know somebody who would probably agree with this.
Yes.
That being a dill, but it is a very confrontational area majority kind of thing. So not a game for us. So.
Nope.
So that is the top 25 for Bitewing Games. I thought it'd be interesting to just go over it.
Well, especially with our top 100 coming up. Probably, we have not even started it yet, so probably sometime in the new year. Yeah.
We usually do our play cutoff at the end of November, so I'll start putting it together and then adding our play accounts then.
And then it'll take us about 6 months to get through them all, to do all the comparisons.
Well, I don't think we're going to have all because we had games on there we hadn't played in years.
Yes.
And there was no way they were going to get a vote, so I don't know why it was even on there. So
because we went through and let BGG pick everything we'd ever played.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
that's why it's going to take me a minute to put it together because I'm going to do it the same way.
But we're going to narrow it down some.
Yeah, we're going to narrow it down so that it's games that we've played, and then I'll look at it, it's like, that, no.
Take out some of the little kids' games that we've been playing for the playing through.
And then before you start it, because we use Pub Meeple, and even before we start it, you can always go through the listing and take out any game you don't want to vote for.
You know it's not going to be in the top 500.
Because there might be games on there that I was like, oh yeah, I would vote for that. Be interested to see where it, but you wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
So you could take out what games you don't want in there, and I could take out games what I don't want.
All right.
Kickstarter time.
Kickstarter.
We both of us actually did Kickstarters.
We did.
And since on the last episode, who was that said that? Let me pull that up. Kickstarter should be an exception to the rule as it is limited time only purchase. And that was David.
And I agreed. I agreed with David.
I am wondering, is this David, Australia David? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
It might be. I don't know.
I'm not sure. He comments on a lot of videos. He commented on something.
David 2694. Well, yeah, he comments on other videos. So
yeah, he's been commenting on other videos because I know he commented on one just yesterday, and now I don't remember. Oh, it was about the queues. So in episode 68. I commented that we have one episode left of the Peas and that they've been dragging on and whatnot. If you don't watch any of the videos on YouTube, brief explanation, we have been playing through our entire collection, both collections. You've heard us talk about the choir department, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole video out on YouTube. I'm not going to go into it here. If you really want me to, let us know and I will, but I don't want to right now. So anyway, we've been playing through all these games, a total of 1,600 some odd games. Both hobby stuff, party stuff, trivia, mass market, kids games, all these things we have amassed in our personal collection as well as this travel collection. Mm-hmm. That hasn't traveled much since 9/11 or since 9/11. What the heck?
Wow.
Since COVID. But regardless, we're almost through the Peas. We only had like 80 some odd Peas. But anyway, we're almost through them. And I made a comment about how the queues will be quick. Well, David, of course, quoted me on saying the queues will be quick. I said, well, there's only 22 of them. It's a lot better than 80 some odd that the Peas have that have taken us months to get through. And he's like, 22? I figured you'd say like 10. I'm like, no, we actually have 22
There's 22
of them.
games?
There's 22 queue games between our collection and the other one. Yeah.
So considering they said that should be an exception to the rule.
Yes.
I guess we're going with that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I agreed.
Okay. So we both backed a Kickstarter.
We did.
I backed the one we talked about on the last podcast, the Empire Builders of Europe. Empire Builders Europe. And it's because I love Cranwell games. One of my top, I think both of them were in my top 100, I know for a fact.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I know
and I think Iron Dragon was like in the top 20, I believe.
Probably.
And that's one they said that it'll be a while. Because they're going to try, because this is, actually it's another company, but they have the titles they have the logo for Mayfair.
They have reclaimed the name Mayfair, yeah.
And they're going and getting the titles, and they're going to start redoing the Cranwell series if this one does good.
Which it's already funded.
Yeah. But they said, somebody asked about Iron Dragon. They said, well, that would be later down because it had a second edition already.
Okay.
And that's what we have is the second edition.
Okay.
Is what Mayfair had. Anyway, but yeah, got this one. This is all about the Eurorails over the railroads over in Europe. And you're building them, you're using crayons. It's just an upgraded version of Eurorails. So I'm excited to get that.
Yeah. And this one should still be out. By the time this episode drops on Monday, it'll have a couple days left in it.
Which one?
Empire Builder.
Empire Builders ends?
Right now, 6 days. But we're recording this on Friday evening. So it'll probably still have a couple days when this drops on Monday. Mm-hmm. So, all right. And the one that I backed was, or I should say is, I Made You a Mixtape. This is a new card game put out by Mike DeLisio and Dan Hughes from Dice Tower fame.
Dan Hughes was co-designer of
Cora Quest, which was
his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter. It was a
COVID project.
It was a COVID project for school, but it's a children's dungeon crawl. It's a dungeon crawl geared toward children.
Yep.
Yes, so it's really a neat project. But the two of them have been friends for a while. They have a podcast as well. And now, mind you, Dan lives in London. Mike DeLisio lives here in Indianapolis.
Well, he lives
near us.
Up north.
Okay,
north of
outskirts of Indianapolis, regardless. But it's a nice little card game where there's a nostalgic factor to it. You are trying to balance your sides with all of these nostalgic 80s and 90s. I don't want to say titles, but they're what's the word I'm looking for?
I know it. I
they're spoofs of the titles.
Basically,
Parodies. Not quite parody. Thank you. But the graphic design looks fantastic. You're trying to balance out your two sides of the tape and keep the rhythms flowing in order to get more points. And we got a chance to play this a month ago at a local board game event where Mike had it out and was teaching it, and really enjoyed this play. A very neat little card game with an I split you choose mechanism on it. But yeah, that one has, by the time this drops, it'll have a day or two left to go as well.
Yeah, because it only has
5 days
right
left,
now. It has 5 days left as of November 8th.
Yes.
When we're recording right now.
So anyway, yeah, good, really neat game. This one I'm excited because we've actually gotten to play it.
With the designer.
we know Mike.
Yes.
So I'm excited to support him and to back this. So.
As he said, when I said, "Oh, look, Katie, he remembers our name." He goes, "I've been in your house."
Yes.
I said, "Yes, you have, Mike."
So,
if you're wondering what we mean, look at our first 24-hour Extra Life game.
Roughly hour 2.
It's
it was the second game.
I know, but he comes in during the first game. Is when he arrives, and then he's in the second game. So yeah. We're on to something old, something new, something borrowed, and something that blew. So first game up, which one do you want to pick?
I was going to say,
I know
which one are you going to grab?
You liked 3 of the 4. I don't think you're a real big fan of the 4th one.
No. All right, I'm just going to start up in the top corner. So the first one we played this with Justin and Jackie. Well, it's not the first of the group we played, but this is the first one we're going to talk about. This is an older game. We played this with Justin and Jackie at the other night after they recorded her podcast. Mm-hmm. This was almost a joke. Jackie saw it sitting on this shelf of games we needed to get played, and she goes, "Oh, let's play that one." This is the Powerpuff Girls Villains at Large.
This came out in 2000.
It came out in 2000.
24 years old.
Plays 2 to 4 players. Takes about 30 minutes. It was published by Milton Bradley. Designed by Craig Van Ness. Hey, look, I can pronounce his name. Takes about 30 minutes to play, which is about average.
Want to hear something weird, though?
What?
The designer.
Yeah.
He designed some of the Heroescape in Star Wars
Really?
Risk. Yep.
Wow.
Risk 22 AD.
Okay.
He's got over 100 titles in his name.
Wow. Okay. Well, with this game, so everybody has, there's a deck of cards. You start out with a hand of cards. And every turn you're drawing a card and you're using cards. Some of the cards could be to do something to another player. Take a card from their hand. Take one of the villains they've already captured, etc. In the middle of the table, there's 3 villains out, and of different strengths. But in order to fight the villains, you have to be controlling one of the Powerpuff Girls. And it's Blossom and Bubbles and what's the
green,
third one?
Pink, blue, and...
It's green, pink, and blue.
Yeah.
There's only 3.
Green,
so
bean,
anyway,
no, green
and I
bean's
know
that one.
I should remember them. Justin and Jackie both were trying to hammer them into our heads.
And if they're listening, they're probably like, "Hey, it's this."
Yeah, I know. But anyway,
so that one is...
the deck of cards is not only the specialty cards that let you do things to other players, but the deck encompasses different color cards of the green, pink, and blue of different strengths. You have to control one of the girls which could be at the start of the game in the center of the table, or they could be in front of somebody else. So you can try to take one of the girls away from somebody else and use one of your cards to do that. They can fight you for her. If they beat you, then they keep her. So you've just wasted a card. So it's kind of got a little bit of a war aspect there. If you get control of the girls, one of the girls, then you can use cards of that color to try to defeat one of the villains in the center of the table. If you have control of two of the girls, then you can use cards of either of those two colors to defeat the villains. And then the game ends when the biggest villain is, and I do not remember his name, when the biggest villain is taken out.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I
do you remember did you say the three?
No, I said
it's Bubbles,
Blossom,
Buttercup, and
Buttercup.
Blossom.
That was the one I forgot. But it is.
And then the doctor, whoever the guy who made
Dr.
them.
Uranium or something like that. It was Mojo Jojo.
That's it.
Mojo Jojo. That's the name of the
this
big
is
bad villain.
Too, you realized after I said that I thought Justin watched this show when he was a kid too, and he did. And
he did.
They
were both.
This was the best cartoon.
I found it comical how into this game
they both were.
These two 30-something kids were. It was hysterical.
Oh, the look Jackie gave Justin when Justin made her put back one of the
villains, and then you ended up winning the game by 1 point because you
because he made her put it back.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So anyway, yeah, it was a cute game. It was a cute game. I will give it that. We had a good time playing it, but yeah. Anyway.
Let's talk about Pixel.
So Pixel is an abstract strategy game, plays 2 to 4 players, roughly 30 minutes again, published by Educational Insights, designed by Ariel Layden. Doesn't have an artist name on it.
There's not a lot of art except for on the box.
No, there really isn't.
Because it's all plastic.
Yeah. So this one is a plastic grid that is, it's kind of like Connect 4, only it's only 3.
Kind of.
It's that concept. It's like it's almost like a tic-tac-toe type of thing. Get 3 in a row. The board is flat though, but there's a trick to this one. So it has these little almost like button pieces that you're putting on there. Yes, the slide levers. Yeah. But it has the pieces are these little button pieces that slide into the grooves. The trick with this one is that, as you indicated, there are 2 slide levers on the board. One on the side and one on the top, or side and bottom, however you're facing.
Yeah.
Anyway, one for each direction. One for rows, one for columns. How's that?
Yes, there you go.
Okay, so on your turn, you can only move one of them. You can't move them both. You can move one of them, and then you have to put your piece at the intersecting spot. Now, and there was a special rule for if there was no spot available that you could use, but
in a 2-player game,
I can't imagine how that would be even possible.
Right. In a 2-player game, there's so many open spaces.
Yeah. So it was surprisingly thinky. I really liked this one. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. And don't get me wrong, we have a lot of games that do something similar. The Connect 3, Connect 4, Pente. There's a lot of games that do this. This one added that twist of those 2 slides, which really limited your possibilities.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just automatically get 3 in a row done because neither of the slides are where you need them to be, and you can only move one.
Right.
So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. This one came out in 2007.
So Praga, Caput, Regni. This is the one that you don't care for. I mean, you don't mind it, but
I don't mind it. It's not going to be my favorite game by any stretch. Okay, so Praga, Caput, Regni, published in 2020.
It's all about the eggs.
Yes, by Delicious Games, designed by Vladimir Suchi and art by Milan Vavron.
I will take your word for it.
Sure. So this is one of those games where you can't do everything. This is a Euro where the idea is you are building the King's Road and or parts of the town of Prague, trying to get to the bridge.
There is a lot of different ways to get points in this game.
There are so many ways to get points.
And they even tell you
You can't focus on everything.
Don't focus on everything. Pick a route that you're going to go, a path, and then go on it.
The interesting part of this one is that it is an action selection game. There is a rondel up in the top corner of the board that different hexagon, like 2 hexagons stuck together, basically, tiles. There's 6 of them. There's 3 different types of tiles, 2 copies of each one. Each tile has 2 different actions on it.
And you got to pick one.
And you have to pick one of those 6. As you're picking it, though, as you're replacing that tile you just chose and you just used, you're moving the wheel. So now everything else that is still on the wheel becomes cheaper, or might even give you money.
Yeah.
If it's been on there long enough. In addition to the actions that you're picking and replacing back onto the wheel itself has actions on it. So that when you pick a tile, you're not only looking at the 2 actions on the tile, you're looking at the action on the wheel too, because that could do something. It could get you money. It could allow you to purchase the special tile if you're purchasing a tile. It could, any number of things. But the actions are, I mean, you're working on the road, or you're building one of 3 different types of tiles, whether it be onto your board, where you're upgrading pieces, where you're building the wall around your personal area, or where you are putting buildings into the village, into the city. Then there are ways to improve or to get your, oh my gosh, it's gold and stone. I think it's the core.
Yes,
the quarry.
Golden stone.
Golden stone. There's 6 different actions basically. I mean, don't get me right. It should be everything I like. I cannot figure this game out, and for some reason, like unlike Apiary, where I can't seem to win it, but I love it. This one just has not captured my attention. It just has not captured that same feeling for me yet. So.
We've only played it twice.
We have only played it twice.
We've had it for a few years, and we've only got it twice, though.
Yeah. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe we just need to play it more frequently so that the rules start sinking in better. So,
so you can kind of get a plan of how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's not been my favorite so far. We're going to keep it, obviously, but because you love it.
Yep.
But thus far, it is not my favorite. And last but not least is a game we first got to play at the retreat. We did not.
We played
it like 3 or 4 times. We could not find it on the way home.
No,
we ended up buying it a couple weeks after we got back from the retreat. This is a party game called Landmarks. Yep. Released this year, 2024, by Floodgate Games, designed by Rodrigo Regni and Danilo Valente. Art by Aaron. Okay, I cannot pronounce that. NG. I'm not sure how that would be pronounced. By Aaron Nig.
Aaron NG.
NG.
You know, there's like the Miko. Well, now we have Aaron NG.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So Landmarks is a party game where one person is the clue giver, kind of like Codenames, and everybody else has to figure out where they're trying to direct you. There is a central map, hexagon map, in the middle of the table with. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. Okay, so you start out with 3 basic words somewhere on the map, all connected together on the map. So you might have, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the ones we had in the sample we just did for the Playing Through Our collection. I think we had trousers and syrup and something else, something completely unrelated. The 3 have nothing to in
none
relation.
of them do.
And those 3 are all right next to each other. So now the idea is you get 7 tiles, and the clue card you have, again, very similar to Codenames. The clue card you have has where these tiles go, as well as where there might be traps that you're trying to avoid, and where there might be curses that you're trying to avoid, where the amulet is, which will help cure at least one of those curses. Just hopefully they don't run into 2 of them. It'll show you where the treasures are. That's your main goal. And finally, it'll show you where the exit is and where the water is. The water is essentially your tiles. You can have up to 7 in your hand at a time because that's how big your canteen is.
As long as you haven't hit any traps.
Exactly. You find a trap, though, and you dent your canteen, and now your canteen will only hold 6 tiles worth of water or 5 tiles worth of water. So every time you go to fill up on water, you don't fill up as much because the canteen doesn't hold as much anymore. So anyway, so you're trying to give them one-word clues that will hopefully lead them in the right direction. So, and I'm laughing because I just edited this on the Playing Through Our Collection today. So that's why it's so fresh in my memory. So like if I had syrup and trousers next to each other, I've got to come up with a word that hopefully will lead them off of one of those without leading them in the wrong direction. So for syrup, I may say sticky. Or maybe I'd say brown, and hopefully they realize that. And the third word was oysters. That's right, because you said something about brown oysters. And what? Okay.
The shells.
The shell still. So I don't know. It's just such a fun game. We played it 4 times the night Justin and Jackie's partner on her podcast, Kyle, were here. And everybody took a turn being the clue giver except for me. I think at that point Kyle had to leave, so we just put it away. But we never won.
No.
So we lost every single game.
I was the first giver of clues, and my 3 words were so bad, and you guys got cursed, and I was trying to lead you to the amulet, and the amulet was sitting within, because my words were in a C, and the amulet was right in the middle of it, so it had to match all 3 of them. And there was no way it was going to match. I was like, I have no idea how to get out of this, because there's no way I can come up with a word that they'll say, oh yeah, it goes right there with all those 3 other letters there.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
oh geez, this is not going to work.
Yeah, because you can't use directional, center, or you can't do things like that. You can't say northwest or north or south, or it has to be a word that relates to something else that's already on the board.
Yeah.
So,
And everybody thought, going,
it can't be that hard.
I can't believe you're having this much trouble. Just put out a word. Geez, it's not that hard. And then everybody's reaction after they did is like, that is hard to figure out. It's like, yes, it is. And we only played on the easy one.
Yes, we never did play medium.
No, because they looked at the medium cards and they're like, no.
Yeah. So I've made a larger version of this so it's more visible on it from an overhead camera. We're going to play this on the next 24 in June.
Yep.
So I know it's early to be promoting this, but I'm going to promote it anyway. You got to tune in and watch. So it won't be till sometime in June. We'll talk about it a lot more between now and then.
Yeah, when we actually nail down a date. It'll probably be the same weekend.
Probably. It seemed to work really well last time, so probably.
And it was the weekend or 2 weekends after?
I think it was 2 weekends after Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yeah, we were trying to get away from the biggest holiday in Indiana.
Yeah, Memorial Day with the race.
Yeah. So, all right.
So that's going to do it.
Mail call.
So this time during the mailbag, Christian wrote back in, the dude Christian.
The dude Christian.
He had an interesting question for us. And this goes back to, like you said in the beginning,
back to our roots.
A little farther for me than you, but...
only by a few years.
A few years?
Yeah.
No.
When did you start?
79.
Okay, more than a few years.
Exactly. Now it really dated
12.
me.
12 years.
It's like you were 92.
Because I didn't start till 92, after Justin was born.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's explain what we were talking about. Read the question.
Anyway, so Christian asked, what was your favorite version of Dungeons & Dragons or role-playing system?
Back to our roots.
My favorite version of Dungeons & Dragons was D&D.
The original
D&D, AD&D, that part where there was no skills. It was just hack and slash. And then it just kept getting more and more convoluted, I guess you'd say. They kept adding more stuff and more stuff. And it's like, all right, I finally got this version of the games, all their books. What? They have new ones? They have a new version? What are you talking about? But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I played 3, and I think I played 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is going to be probably controversial with anybody who plays D&D, and I'm sorry now. I don't care for D&D.
No, you don't. You don't like that fantasy.
I don't
world.
like the fantasy theme in role playing. I just don't. I prefer modern. I prefer space. I just
futuristic stuff.
Futuristic stuff. That's fine. I just have never cared for fantasy. So D&D was never my favorite. I'll play it. My philosophy when we played, because and we'll go back here. We started playing in 92. Let me rephrase
You started
that.
playing in 92.
I started playing in 92, shortly after Justin was born. In 96 is when we met a lot of the friends that we still have.
Yeah.
We met all of them in 96, early 97, when Eric was about not even a year old yet. We met all of the friends we still have. Doug and Sarah. We talk about them with our cooperative Sundays. Of course, Joe, my brother.
Well, Joe's the one that brought it all in.
Joe's the one who Joe.
He led us down that path.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, no, he did, because he got us in with Jason and Nick on all that, and they got us into Canar, which is where we met all these people and started role-playing with them.
That's true. We met. Okay, fine. Anyway.
It's all your brother's fault.
They always. But we met Scott and Kat that way, and we don't see Scott and Kat very often anymore, but through them we also met Catherine, and then John, and then we've met other people like Amy and Ellery. They come over and they game with us, but we've never role played with them. But we did for years and years and years. We role played with these people for 25 years, to the point where we had a rotation of four to five games that rotated on a weekly basis. And it was just scheduled. It was Star Wars, and then Seven Seas, and then BTS, and then literally we had 4 or 5 of them that just rotated. I don't remember what all of them were now.
Had Pendragon in there. We had Seven Seas in there. Yes. We had Vampire.
That's right.
We had what was the other vampire game? Hunter.
Okay, yeah, that was with Mike and them. Yeah.
No, that was with Doug.
Was it?
I think the Hunter was the one that we were vampire hunters.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I believe Doug ran that one.
I don't remember that one very well.
We only played, it wasn't that long of a game we played. But
all right.
Yeah, a lot of our favorite characters came from that grouping.
Okay.
Of all that stuff. Well, not of that game. I meant from these friends.
From these friends.
Yeah, we have a lot of
characters we still talk about. Like, one of your nicknames in
my nickname on BGG is Cutter. Is Cutterback.
Yeah, which was
one of my characters in the game that you ran.
What was it? Beyond the Supernatural game. Yeah, that was a game I ran for 6 or 7 years, to the point where we had 2 groups of it alternating.
Yeah, that came out with through Palladium Books.
Yes,
who did that
came out through Palladium. You had Cutterback. Tony still has her Molnero email from that. That email is still active.
My other email has Cutterback in it.
It does. You do. So, these are just characters. Just the other day, Doug said something to me referencing that game. And we haven't played that game in 20 years. Right? We haven't played that since we moved here into this house.
Yeah.
We still played that at the other house. So, it's been 20 years.
I don't think we ever played it here. It was always over at the other house.
Yeah. So it's just little memories like this. That's one of the things I loved about role playing.
So what is your favorite role playing system?
Oh my gosh. If I had to pick a system I enjoyed the most, it would probably be the Palladium system, only because it was the one I started with, and it's the one I know the most. It's the one I know backwards,
which is one of the most detailed systems out there.
And it's the most complicated to make a character in, and yes, I get all that, but to me, it's just
it made sense.
It made sense. And there's so many games in this system. I love Beyond the Supernatural. I ran it for years, and I had so much fun running.
Which is the Palladium system.
Which is the Palladium system. I just thought the concept we came up with for that game was just so good. Everybody loved it. We were an FBI agency in Vermont that dealt with the supernatural, and everybody played agents of the agency. So if somebody couldn't be there, fine. You just weren't on that case.
You're on special assignment someplace.
Every game session was a case.
So for you guys,
so much fun.
For you guys listening that don't know this about Katie, Katie is like a perfectionist when she does things. She is very detailed oriented. Yeah. She would put together cases and then run it by me and say, what questions do you have? And then she would make the answers for all these questions. And it would be in a case file. She would come up with characters that you had to go and investigate. Total profiles of these people. Total profiles of like crime scenes and everything.
It was a lot of work.
And for the longest time, we still had all these in files in the library.
I still have them all on discs. I don't have the files anymore. I finally tossed them probably a decade ago.
Yeah, but they were so detailed. Like I said, she would run it by me and ask me, okay, questions. What do you have? Come up with questions that I need to find.
And death certificates and newspaper articles.
And this game was so detailed that we had gone on. This was before Google Maps and all that. We had a little map thing, city map thing that showed you the streets.
MapQuest or something like that.
It wasn't even MapQuest. It was on a CD.
Oh, was it? Oh, wow.
Yes. We had a CD that it was like a map maker or something like that, but it showed the cities and it showed the streets. It didn't show buildings and everything on it, though. Mm-hmm. But we had it where we went into the Burlington, Vermont apartment guide and housing guide, and we picked out where our apartments were or our houses were and had pictures of it and the floor layouts of it and knew what street it was on. We had our own vehicles picked out, what we were driving. It was just...
We were so intense on this game for so long.
This game was very, very detailed oriented. And I know when the first time we went to England, we came up with a episode, a file form, which was our New Year's Eve party.
Yes.
That it was hauntings all over England and everything. And there was like 6 or 7 different hauntings that they had to go investigate. And the coolest thing about this is me and Katie presented the game, said, this is what's going on. And to watch these guys, I mean, we had like 10 people there, I think.
Yeah, easy. And everybody pulled out all of their old characters. And, we had so much fun.
And just to watch these guys pair up and take one file and go over in quarter, and they start going through the files and start trying to solve things, and then come to us if they had questions for anything, because it was both me and you that was running that game because we put it together. But we had gotten all this information over there about haunted castles and haunted areas all over the United Kingdom.
See them figure out they were all connected some way.
Yeah, and how we intertwined in everything into one general area. And just to watch them come back. Yeah, I'd have to say of all the games I've ever played, that one right there made it. I mean, it was great.
That game, the whole scenario based, the way we did it. If I wanted to play in a game one time or somebody had an idea, they just, hey, I have a case idea. You mind if I run it? And I had a character that sat in the background that I could jump in and play in that game if I wanted to. And we had so much fun with that one.
You had gotten so many different players wanting to play to the point where at one point you had to break it into two different sets. One group would come one week and another group would come a different week.
I think at one point we had 15 people.
And you had to break it up. So I just made another character so I could be in both games and still be there to help you run the games.
Yeah, it was fun.
But it was a lot of fun. And like I said, that New Year's Eve game, the ghost haunting game, was probably my favorite one of all time. Although Joe and Travis ran a game about being abducted. Do you remember that?
Was it a BTS game?
It was a BTS game. Were you there? You may have been out in California.
I was going to say, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, because I was playing whatever my other character's name is. I can't remember what his name was, though. But his background was he had been abducted by aliens.
I do remember that character.
And they started the game by saying everything was cool and everything. And said, all of a sudden you hear this noise. It's a very strange noise. You've never heard of it. And you pass out. And I said, well, just before I pass out, I was like, oh, no, not again. And Joe and Travis looked at me like going, has he already figured it out? But the whole case, we went through this whole case, and it was all in our head because we'd been abducted, if I'm not mistaken, and the aliens were basically running this through our brains to see how we react.
I must have been in California at that point. I do not remember that one.
It was a very interesting game, though. But usually these games, they were only like one session.
One session, yeah.
You do a case.
Occasionally, it would run over to a second weekend, but very rarely. I tried to time it out so it would just be 1 6-hour game.
Yep. And one of the other things about this whole game, like I said, very detailed with the apartments and all that, we had a newsletter.
We did. We had
and
a
you would
newsletter
you get extra experience points if you did the newsletter. So Cutter, my character, would basically review the other agents or talk about his cases and stuff.
That.
But he would review one agent every week in the what I don't even remember what it was called. The newsletter was called.
I don't remember.
But yeah, so everybody would be like on their edge, like when they come in, it's like, who do you review this week? Who do you review this week? Who do you review this week? And then one of the best lines that we still use today is from the Golva, North Dakota case that I went to go interview the lady, an old lady. It was like, what was it? She offered lemonade and she gave me orange juice or something like that.
Yep. I mean,
and it was in my report.
That was the joke.
Yes, I wrote it in my report that she offered me lemonade and gave me orange juice or something like that. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very fun game.
I think if I had to choose a system, it would be Palladium, mainly because of BTS. But I love Rifts. I love new Ninjas and Super Spies. I like Champions.
Heroes Unlimited.
Heroes Unlimited. Thank you. Champions is a completely different system.
Champions, you need like a slide rule.
I like the game. I do not like the system.
Right.
So Palladium, definitely. There are other games, though, outside of that system that we've just had so much fun with. But I'll go into that. What was your favorite one?
Like I said, that was probably Palladium is probably my favorite one, though, but I do like the D6 version of Star Wars.
I do like, yes, that would be my second, would be the D6 version of Star Wars. I do love that system as well. And we've had some great games with that one, too. Doug has always run them, right? No, Doug and Scott. Doug and Scott have run them. And again, we've got just, oh my gosh, the characters and the memories that come out of those. Ariel. I had a character named Ariel Antilles, and the joke was she was Wedge's little sister. Well, not the joke, but that was her background. She was Wedge's little sister. And oh my gosh, we just had so much fun with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you stole the prototype of the X-Wing.
She worked for the Empire before she realized what was going on in their R&D division. And there was a stealth, not an X-Wing, a stealth TIE fighter.
TIE fighter, yeah.
That she had helped design. And when she figured out what was happening and what the Empire was doing, she stole the prototype and destroyed all the records and then got away. And that was the ship that the GM, Doug, let me keep that one. Or was it Scott?
That was Scott. I thought you and Scott had worked all that out.
We did. But Scott let me keep that for quite a while. And then he finally took it away from me. He said it was getting too powerful. I'm like, man, but whatever. So, I loved her. Yeah. I absolutely love playing her.
And then your other one that was me and you were husband and wife in the Star Wars game, the last Star Wars game we played, though. And the quote of that one is like going, you put a bounty on a hut?
Yes, I did.
And it was Jabba, too, wasn't it? No, it wasn't Jabba.
It wasn't Jabba.
It was another
different hut. But it was
one
still...
that had the bounty on my head.
Yes. Yeah, we've got so many memorable quotes from games. I love it. Yep. But yeah, I would definitely say Star Wars and Palladium are my favorite too. But I mean, we've got Pendragon. We've got so much from Pendragon. The system was okay.
Yeah.
I don't like 20-sided systems. They're just too random to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Anything with dice is random.
Right.
But yeah, no, gosh, just talking about it's bringing back a lot of memories. If any of our friends listen to this, guys, we need to get a game together. I mean, seriously. So,
well, I've been trying to put together a risk game, but
yeah, that would be fun. Well, and I talked about trying to get together a game, another Amazing Adventures game,
which is Troll Lords,
which is through Troll Lords, right? It's a kind of like almost a beginning D&D system, kind of like similar.
Yeah, the guy who owns Troll Lords is the person once Gary Gygax left Wizards of the Coast and D&D, he came to him and he started publishing his books and everything, and then he got the copyrights to the first and second editions of D&D, which is what he made Castles and Crusades like.
Okay. Yeah, I know that's how we found Mark and Jess, was wanting to play Castles and Crusades with somebody, and we found them locally. And...
Which is funny, too, after that, is because that's when we realized, no, we'd met Mark before.
Yes.
He was friends with my brother, and then we realized that we worked way back in the day when we were working two jobs.
First married.
We were cleaning buildings after hours.
Yeah.
And he was one of the guys, just before we quit, he was one of the guys that came up, that Doug brought up.
Yeah.
My brother Doug brought up and started working up there at the buildings as well.
Small world. Small world.
And we knew his cousin or uncle or Pat. Pat was his uncle?
Pat's, I think, his uncle.
Okay. It's really weird because they're like either the same age or Mark's older than Pat or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it works, though.
Dynamic.
But now Mark and Jess are our future in-laws because our son Eric is dating their daughter Journey, which they are now engaged. So
yes. Anyway.
Okay. So, Christian, I hope that answers your question.
I feel like we went the long way around to answer that question. But
you got a lot of good stories. We love talking about the histories of our characters that we've had and all that.
Yeah. We did an episode way back when. I think you did an episode with a bunch of our friends about role-playing because it was the weekend that both Mark, Jess, and I were all getting our COVID shots.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you'd already
yeah,
had
yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
You'd had yours like a week before, so you were already over the side effects.
I had not had them yet.
Yours was after
I was
mine?
last on getting the COVID shots out of everybody around here, I think.
I don't remember why. Yeah, we just couldn't get yours scheduled or something. I don't know. Anyway, but all three of us were having side effects issues from that first COVID shot, so you just did it on your own with a bunch of our friends.
Yep.
All of our role play. It was great.
I need help.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been in on that one, but maybe again sometime.
So this is going to do it for episode 76. If you like this episode or any of our content and haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so by going to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're there, give us a rating and comments. This is how others can find the show. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on social media, just to keep up with us, follow the links in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Discord, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.